Okay, guys. So this is the naming convention that we have into the proc SQL. The dataset call is as table, and the horizontal records are called as row, and the vertical variables is called as column. Okay, or the column name is called as column. Okay, so let me create a first of all a table from proc SQL so that we will start further. Okay, so this is my SAS help dot class dataset that is present into my SAS help library, and this is a class dataset. And I just asked SAS to print the observations that is present into SAS help dot class to my output window, or you can say the result viewer. Okay. Okay. So actually, this proc SQL is consist of these six statements: select, from, where, group by, having, and order by. We will try to see that these statements in detail one by one. Okay. First of all, the question is arises that when we are achieving most of the things with the base as, then why do we need a proc SQL or advanced as? So the key feature is that whenever we are working with the small data sets, the code becomes very bulky in comparison to the proc SQL, and the debugging of the code is really get complicated into the base as. And the same of the things that we can achieve into proc SQL in a little bit shorter time, and that debugging is quite really very easy. And apart from that, that BSS actually works into the PDB concept, one by one row observations process, and but into the proc SQL, all of the data come into the memory and analyzed simultaneously. Okay, it can perform the operations on the row as well as it can perform operations on the column wise as well. Okay, so let's start with the okay. And one more thing is that whenever we are starting proc SQL, so you have to mention proc SQL like that. This is SQL. Okay, this is SQL is abbreviated into structured query language. This is one of the most famous languages that we have to retrieve data or update or delete data from the databases that we have in our industries like DB2, Sybase, okay, and Oracle database, Microsoft SQL Server. These are the kind of the database server that we have, and we use different kind of languages to retrieve these information from the databases. So every language has a different syntax, but most of them have the same working scenario. Okay, so to start with proc SQL, as when you start with the data step, you have to mention data step. Similarly, we have to use proc keyword that tells actually says to that we are initializing our proc step or proc SQL. Okay, and after that we are using these statements, and just remember that these statements should be into the same order. You cannot use where after from. You have to use from after only select. You have to maintain this order. Okay. Okay, so the basic and one more thing is that I like to convey over here this in that into the proc SQL, the statement that we have is executed not simultaneously, but the statements are executed one by one, or you can say separately. Proc SQL executes separately, and this statement executes separately, and this quit statement executes separately. Okay, and one more thing is that, so you have seen this output. Okay, until you create a data set, until you create a table from proxsql, you cannot have this information into a table form. You always have this information into your output window or into the result viewer. As you can see over here, this is my sashelp.class dataset that is printed into the output. Okay, if you want to create a sample data, if you want to create a data from sashelp.class, you can type it like as, this is the create keyword and the table name that you want to give. Suppose I am creating a table A. Okay, when I execute it, a table is formed like that. It is same like in as like B says. Okay, okay, let me tell you like how's it working. Let me write the alternative code for the same. This is the similar code in that we are right into the base as. What we do is we create a data set A from the class, and we execute the this step by mentioning a run statement. Similarly, we initialize the proxsql. We create a table A. This is alternatively to the data A statement. Okay, and there is a as keyword. As keyword is means to that like whatever the information that I have into this statement. This is the highlighted statement that captured this information into table A. This is the meaning of this as keyword. Okay, select is means to select the columns from class, and the columns name that I have mentioned is star. Star is star over here means to say that capture all of the things that you have available into the SAS class. Oh, sorry, class dataset. Okay, so into the class dataset, I do have around 5 variables: name, sex, age, height, and weight. Okay, so this is the alternative uh, code of base as to the proxsql one. Is there anyone who has any doubt yet? Okay. Okay, and one more thing is that always you have to mention a quit statement to end your proc SQL step, because when you are entering the environment of a proc SQL, you have to get exit from that proc SQL step. If you are not mentioning it, it keeps invoking. As let me execute it for you so that you can better understand it. As you can see over here and onto my taskbar, that proc SQL is running. It's keep invoking. It does not ending. Okay, so to end this, we have to mention quit statement. Okay, and one more thing is that some person use a run statement to end this proc SQL step, but alternatively, this also does not reflect anything. As you can see, it's still running, and in the into the log there is a just a second. When I run it, when you check the log, it clearly mentioned that run statement has no effect because it executed this middle step middle statement faster than the run statement. Okay, so you have to quit from this environment, you have to use a quit statement. Okay, so this is the basic scenario of this one, and it is most probably used when you have your data size around 100 MB or 200 MB. If you do have the size more than this, you have to use your BSS for efficient coding. Okay, so into the BSS we have started our making our own data by through card statements or the data line statements. So here was the code. Okay, so this was the data set that I have created just now. Okay, into the proc SQL step we do have the same features like this. Let me introduce you to these statements separately. As I enter into the data step environment, I have to use data. Similarly, I use the proc step, proc keyword, and then after that I use the SQL. That means to say that I am entering into the proc SQL environment. Same like data B. I am creating a table A. That create table A. After that, this is the input statement into the base as, but into the proc SQL we do have the input statement syntax like this. Okay, so this is your ID, same like ID, but into the base as, when it is numerical we do not mention any dollar sign. Okay, but into the proc SQL we have to mention the numerical or the character or the salary or the numeric whatever the data type that I have. Okay, similarly, this card statement, this is the alternative statement, insert into A. Okay, and after that this information that is contained into values statements like this, and then after that similarly we have to run our quit our the proc SQL step. Let me execute it for you, and this is your table A. Okay, so until you relate these topics simultaneously you will not be able to get it. Okay, guys, just a second, I have an urgent call, just give me a few minutes. Guys, and does anyone have any problem yet? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so I believe that no one has any doubt till now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So alternatively, the same thing is happen over here. If you have the formatted input over here, you can in insert your in format and the format statement simultaneously. Okay, by matching like in format. Suppose if I have any date, you specify in format and then format again. Okay, this is all get similarly with the attribute statement that we have into the base as. Okay, let's start with a few more advanced things. There is a feedback option that we have into the proc SQL. What it exactly do is it gives you the information that is being sent to the compiler, and then the compiler is actually sending that information to the uh, this SQL processing. Okay, when I executed it, the similar result that I get, the sasapp.class dataset. But when you check into the log, it tells you that this statement transformed to into this format like class.name, class.sex, class.age, and class.height, class.weight, and from actually this was the actual information that is being sent to the compiler. Okay, so whenever you write your complex queries into the proc SQL, you can use the feedback option, like what information is exactly being transferred to the compiler, so that you can debug it priorly, so that you will not have any error or the bad result in your data. Okay, so as I said, that proc SQL can also be used to update data into your tables or delete data. So similarly, I have used these two both codes. Okay, let me execute it. I make a dataset B. Okay, and then I ask SAS to, like, whenever you are encounter with a age value greater than 12, then delete that observations. Okay, so into the dataset B, we do have only 11 and the 12 age values. When we are exactly trying to do the same, we have to use these statements like this. We have to make our own data set, table, like C as select star from class. It actually make a help copy as a table name C, and then we use the keyword delete from C where age is greater than 12. Okay, the same result can be seen over here. This is the same data set. These are the same data sets. As you guys can see this, there is a observation numbers difference between over here. Over here is our 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and over here is 6 7 8, something like this. This is only because that the where options as execute first before comes to the memory, and then it assigned to the particular rows that it is capturing. Okay, and the only where statement that we have available to filter our data into the proc SQL. So just keep a note of this. Okay, is there anyone who has any doubt till now? Okay. Okay, into the base as we have also seen that whenever we have a condition is true and we want to populate another variable, then we have to use that combination of if and then concept. Okay, and as you guys do know, like if and then is limited to only single variable. If you want to create, if you want to create multiple variables within the if and then you have to use do loop. Okay, so what I just created is like if I have my age variable less than 12, then I should have a variable named race, and the value should be is teen. Okay, so let me execute it for you. So this is my the second, something went wrong. Okay, so race column is over here. Okay, so whenever the value that I have is less than 12 or equal to 12, then the race column values is equals to teen, otherwise there is an adult. Okay, the same feature or the same concept that we have into the proc SQL. Okay, what we do is we enter into the proc SQL environment. We created a table B as like this information that we have available to us. Okay, so let me start with this concept. Select star means to say that capture all of the information that you have available from the SAS class, and comma is actually telling SAS to like also capture there is a age variable. Okay, and we have the case statement over here. Case statement is similarly like this if and then concept. Into the case statement we use when and then. Okay, this is the thumb rule that you need to remember. Like when age between 0 and 10, then teen. Okay, the only difference is that we have to mention the variable name over here, but but into the when and then concept we have to mention only the value that want to assign. Okay, when age is between 11 and 13, then the value should be mid, otherwise adult. And we have to put this variable as race. Okay, and as race like this. And as I said, we have to maintain a order of that we have. This is select from where group by having order by. Okay, so we have used select. Okay, we have created a new variable. This is race, and then we have to use the that from where we have to capture all of this information that is available into the class data set, and then finally we get quitted. When I execute the same one, the same result can you expect. Okay, as like this race over here. Just a second. Something went wrong. It is assigning all of them. Okay, not a problem, guys. I will sort this out for you. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. I will sort this out for you. But the only thing is that we have to use the case operations if we have to use the same operations like if and then. Okay, let us consider another example. If and where concept. As you guys do know, like into the bases, when we are creating a new variable, then we have to use the if statement when we have the existing variable, and if you want to filter our result on the basis of previously existed variable, then we can use the where statement to increase our efficiency of the SAS system. Similarly, we do have the same feature into the proc SQL. As you guys do know, like we do have the only where keyword that we have available into the proc SQL, so we cannot use the newly created variables. Okay, so let me remove this for you, and let's see what will happen. I'm creating I'm creating nothing. I'm just creating the information that I am about to capture from class, and let's execute it. Okay, so there is an error like the following columns were not found into the contributing table like age underscore days. Okay, so into the class there is a no column by this name. Okay, and there is a age variable, age column actually, which has the age into the years. I created a new variable age underscore days to convert these values into the days. And if I want to filter my result onto the basis of newly created variable, then you guys do know like where statement exactly try to find this variable or the column name into the data before it comes to the memory and start filtering. But when it does not found, it show this error to you. Okay, so to avoid this, we do have two methods. Like I can use either age multiply by 365. I can do the same thing. Okay, or if I do not want to use the expression, I can use a word calculated. What it exactly do is it actually tells us to hold and let create this age underscore days, and then start filtering it out. Okay, into the backend it holds the SAS to populate this age underscore days column and then start filtering it out. uh, Ankit, I will come to that point. We do have also having as well, but it exactly happening is that having is actually used after by group by, so I will come to that case as well. So is there anyone who is in doubt till now? Um, there is some problem with this one. Okay, let's move to the another topic. I will sort this one out. Okay. Okay, one important feature, like Ankit was saying, we do have the having feature. Let me create a dummy dataset first of all. Okay, so this is the output that I have. Okay, let me show it to you. This is my dataset A that I have just created. I create four values within the same ID, and similarly for the B. Okay, we do have salary values like up to 10 and 20, and similarly like this. One more feature is that we do have available two options like this, where and the having feature to filter our data. What exactly happen is that where option, where statement exactly uh, filter the data first, and then rest of the data that we have available, that is actually grouped by, and the this having salary greater than equal to 20, then this filtration is again get populated with the same data. So when we have this type of data available into this one, so let me tell you like how does it happening. So when I mentioned when salary is greater than 10, what it do is before coming to the memory, it start filtering the data, and it stores the data like this. Okay, because it will not capture this the salary where the salary is less than 10, it delete those observation, and only these two rows available into my memory. Okay, and after that I use the group by id statement. If I do have another variable like this, like a30 or a40. Okay, and then after that the grouping will be done. Okay, so let's delete this one. So this is the information that we have only from this highlighted query, where salary is greater than 10. Okay, after that grouping is done, and unfortunately we do not have the multiple values for this id variable. We do have only a and b. If there was multiple, then it grouped together. Okay, but we do have only a. or B, only unique values. And then again, after I'm filtering it out, like salary is greater than 20, greater than or equal to 20. That means this data and this data both are satisfying this condition. If I remove this equal to, then I do have only B40, B40 salary. Okay, this was the concept of where filtration is actually done prior to the data comes to the memory. Then when we have the data into a memory, then having is actually used. Okay, is there any have any doubt till now? Who has any? Am I audible to you guys or not? Okay, of the same question, I have to create another multiple values. Okay, suppose say I do have A30 over here, and let's consider we have B20 over here. Okay, so this was the result. Now, if any one of you have the information about this, even I use the group by statement, I should have only single A, and this I do not supposed to have these multiple observations within the same group. Why does it happening? Can have any idea? Okay, let me explain it to you. Let me give you another example, then I will come to this one. This is a really important topic. Can anyone guess what will be the output of this code? Okay, I will come to that aggregate functions as well. Okay, so the idea is that like whenever you are grouping some values, then definitely you are grouping those values just to have an accumulated uh, value like sum, average, or the maximum, minimum. Okay, within the group. So even if you are grouping your ID, but you did not mention any aggregate function or the summary functions, then what it do is, if you do not mention any summary function or aggregate function, and you just only mention group by statement, then what it exactly do is it sort this data on the basis of ID. Okay, this whole statement change to order by statement. This is the one of the most uh, interview topic that can be asked to you. Like if I do not use the aggregate function by mentioning group by statement, that what would happen to my data set or the table, sorry. As you can see, I juggle up this data with you know two or more types of data values. Then finally you do have all these values are into the sorted manner within the ID: A, then B, then C, and then D, and then G, and then H. Okay, is there anyone who has any doubt? Okay. Ankit was also asking me a new doubt. Let me try to execute it. Yes, Ankit, you were right. That what exactly happened is that having actually also wait for the new variable to create it and then start filtering it out. So you do have the options, but you have to omit this option of using having when you are simultaneously working with where option, where statement, and the having option, having statement, sorry. Because where execute first and then having after that. This is kind of a concatenation kind of filtering one by one. Okay, so let's move to another topics. Okay, so even you can use multiple data step options as well within your data set name or table name that you have available. After the from, you can use keep statement, you can use the drop statement, or you can use the obvious options as well. Okay. Okay, as you do know, like obvious is equal to 10, it suppress the number of observation to maximum 10. Okay, so these are the first 10 observations that you have, and I keep only uh, this age, name, and height. So these are the very columns that I have into the output. Okay, you can use first OBS and OBS equals and first OBS equals. You can use that same option as well over here. Okay, we do have also observation controls option as well. This is in OBS and out OBS. As of now, they are working the same, but when we are proceed with the joins into the proc SQL, it would have a different meaning. But let me try to execute for you. Okay, so in OBS option are also can be used if you want to control your observation into the output. Okay, this is kind of slicing and dicing method that I have discussed into the base as. If you controlling your observation, that is called slicing, and if you are controlling your variables into the output, that is called dicing. Even if you can use these uh, you know your column names instead of star over here, you can omit this step like this, and you can even use over here like this. Name and age and sex. And note one thing, that the order that I am writing over here into the output, the same order that I am getting. This is not happening as like base as that if I am writing age first, then it not populated first. The order that I'm writing over here into the same output, that you are getting the same order like name, age, and sex. Okay, you can use out obvious as well, but it also works the same in the same way. As I said, like when we are dealing with the particularly joins, it would have the different meaning. You have the 5 observations in output. If you want to create a particular data set from this information, you have to use create table statement, create table A as like this. Okay, and one more thing I just want to ask, I just want to tell you, like in whenever into the base as when we are applying functions, something like this, like substring function, what we exactly do is we mention our new variable name like this, new underscore new variable that I'm creating. Okay, I'm applying a function sub str on to the existing variable that I have x, and I'm want to have from the starting point 3, and want to have the 4 characters after that. Okay, this is the general format that we use into the bases. But into the proc SQL, we have opposite of that. We use this statement, that of right hand side statement first, like sub str, the variable that you want to apply like this, and this equal sign has changed into as, and after that the variable name that you want to assign. Whenever you have to use functions into the proc SQL, you have to maintain this way, opposite of the base as, starting from the right hand side to the left side. Okay, so Abhay is asking to me like what is the difference between in obvious and out obvious. Abhay, the scenario is that like whenever we are dealing with the joins, it actually comes in action when we are dealing particularly with joins with multiple observations. So we will look at these features into when we are discussing the joins. This is not a topic of this class. I just want to introduce you to these key keywords, so that when I would discuss this into join topic, you will not get confused. I would come to that point. uh, Let me give you an overview of this. In obvious, what I exactly do is when we are joining multiple tables, then it captured only the five observation from each of the data set. Okay. And in out obs, when we have like suppose say we do have around 30 observation in two data sets or tables, and after joining, if we want to have only five observation, then it comes into play after joining out obs and before joining it in obs. But as of now it is working the same because we are not dealing with the joins as of now. Okay, so is there anyone who has any doubt till now? Okay. Okay, so now we have no dupe concept and no dupe key concept to remove the duplicates. Let's discuss first of all no dupe key, and let me create a data set that I have already available. I do have multiple you know values for the same ID. Okay, like this. As you can see, I do have uh, multiple values within the same ID. Okay. Let me throw an arrow. Okay. Inside. Okay, so you do have the only unique uh, observation on the basis of the ID. Okay, this is the no do key alternative. What you have to do into the base as, you have to use proc sort and no do key option, and then after that loop out and out by the variables and something stuff like this. Okay, the similar result, as you can see, how just three line codes do the same thing. Okay, so uh, what it exactly do is this there is a distinct keyword. Distinct keyword exactly do is it capture the different levels of available into the ID. Okay, different level means the the distinct of values that you have available within to the ID. Okay. Okay, let's come to the Let me create uh, multiple observation. We do have 8 and okay. If I want to create a notebook alternative, as I said over into the select statement that when I was discussing, there is a star, which means like whatever the information that you have available from SAS upload class, that's include this. Okay, so when I use a distinct, it gives you the unique observations, or you can say this is a notebook alternative. Let me mention AO here so that you can better interpret it. Okay, so these were the unique information that you have. Okay, is there anyone who has any doubt till now? Okay. Okay, so let me come to this order of the statements. I have discussed select. If you want to use different variable names, from is used from where the operation that you want to done on the table name or the dataset name, where exactly tells you to filter the data prior comes to the memory. I I haven't I discussed a special feature of group by if you are not using aggregate function or the summary function. I also have discussed having, but the only remaining is order by. Okay, order by is actually used to sort your data into the ascending or descending. Okay, just like proc sort. Let me give an example for this one, and we will be done with this different type of statements. Okay, so in ascending and descending, there is an abbreviated form of descending. This is like as DESC, which exactly means is descending. You can use multiple variables like whenever you have available, like age or height that you want to have. Okay, in whatever the order that you want to have. For ascending there is a by default no, you don't need to mention, but if you have, if you want to populate these values into into descending, then you have to use descends like DESC. Okay, so this is the descending statement, order by statement, sorry. Okay, so let's come to the subquery concept, and most of we will have done it for today. Let me discuss one function with group by and the aggregate and summary function to you, and we will be done with this one. Okay, so as you can see, I have mentioned star, so that's why this id and salary is coming into the output. Okay, so id and salary is present into my a table name a, so that it is by capturing. I also created a function sum of salary. Okay, like within the same group I want to sum of these values. Like within a I do have 20, and within c I do have 10, 10, 20, 14, 50. Okay, so you have to come into this like this way. Okay, but the original value are still not coming up. So what I have to do is id. As you guys do know about this one, I already have discussed. This is the same like into the bases, but do not it into the base as it calculate the sum of to the horizontal rows, but over here it is calculating of a particular column into the vertical side. Okay, so I use the I have the separate information about particular group variable, group particular group variable values. Okay, suppose say my business person want to ask me like suppose say these are my different healthcare plans. Okay, and this is my region A. Into the first quarter I have sorry, into the first month I have the business of 10 lakhs, and another month is another 10 lakhs similarly. And my business person want to ask me like give me only those information about the areas where the the total sum of salaries is, or the business that you have done from your healthcare product is greater than 40 or something like this. Okay, then what I have to do is where sum of salary is greater than, suppose say 30. Okay, let me try to execute it. Okay, it will give you an error. The error is only because that the summary function are restricted to only use by the select statement and to the heavy clause only. Okay, you cannot use the summary functions into the where statement, or into the where clause. These are the list of summary function that you have available. Maybe you do have more than this, but the information that I have till now, these are the aggregate function that you have available. Okay, you can even use the same having for the same one as Ankit told that. Okay, so you do have only those areas where you have the business around 40 or greater than 40. Okay, you can use having. If you have problem with using, you can use where. Now let me tell you what is the concept actually. When I use a summary function with the where statement or where clause, it gives you an error because it is limited to select and having. So to avoid this, what we exactly do is we put this variable, uh, this function into the select statement. Okay, so this part is called as subquery. That we do have a overall query, and within the same query we do have another part of query. Okay, let us try to execute this one. Okay, we do have the same result. Okay, this is okay. I do not use the filter. Okay, so you do have these results. Okay, so this is a kind of your subquery, a query within query. Okay, and these are the list of the summary function that you have available. You can use with your column names. Okay, let's discuss another topic. What is that?
Arun, is there any reason for the instruction of summary function in their clause?
The particular reason is this one, like the summary functions are not available to use into the where statement or the where clause actually. So to avoid this, we have to use the select statement to avoid this one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, and there is one more feature that I came to. I just want to discuss, and after that, we will be done with this. Okay. Okay, one of the more the benefit of using proc SQL is this: you can compare multiple tables simultaneously. So as you do, as you can see over here, I am comparing this X from a different table. Okay, this is kind of a looking up table, looking up concept. Okay, you can even use another table to verify your uh, values. Okay, and this is are actually two types of things that you have available. One is called correlated, and another is called non-correlated. Okay, into the correlated feature is this one, like when this filtering another data set, it actually returning a single value. So it is returning over here is 4. Okay, but if I would say that select star from B, then it would return like multiple values like 4, 5 and 7. It become non-correlated. Okay, so we do have option to use these features. Okay, non-correlated. Let's discuss non-correlated feature. Okay, into non-correlated we do have another three subtype: any, all and exists. Okay, what it do is this highlighted query that I just highlighted, it returns what a bunches of values like this: 4, 5 and 7 that I have available within B. Okay, okay. I use the any keyword for the non-correlated. Okay, what I ask says to like filter my X observations which are less than any of the values that you have available within the B. Okay, I do have only a single value X. If you have maybe in the case you do have X, Y or Z multiple columns over here, you can use particularly that variable over here. Okay, what you do is to any of the values, either from 4, either from 5, or either from 7. It uh, take only observations from A which is less than either of 4, less than 4, either of the less than 5, or either less than 7. Okay, if I use all, then it check for 4, simultaneously it check for 5, and simultaneously it check for 7 as well. Okay, and there is another feature that is called exits. What it do is, I will try to sort this out for you. There is been a long time. What it exactly do is, it actually captures only those observations from A which is common with B. It is kind of a union operator. Okay, okay, and there is another where features that we have already discussed into the SAS. These are the wildcard characters like underscore and percentage. Maybe you all do know about it. Okay, underscore is for a single character. Okay, and this percentage is for 0 or more. Okay, so even you can use the observe filtering your data onto the basis of this one. If you guys want me to execute it side by side, I can, but otherwise I already have covered into the bss. This is the same thing, like where name contains this, or where name like this. Is there anyone who has any doubt till now? records. Guys, is there anyone who has any doubt till now? Am I audible to all of you or not?
Yes, you are audible.
I don't know, like no one is speaking, so that's why. Ajit,
Okay. Arun, when we were creating the table, you define the length for the character variable. So is
uh-huh.
it necessary to always define the length of the character variable?
uh, Priyanka, your voice is breaking up. It is better if you can type.
I'm saying that is it necessary to always define the length of the character variable?
No, it is. It is not. Like it is up to you. Like it is alternatively with the input statement. If your the values length is greater than the default length, then you may use the
Okay.
length. Okay. Otherwise it is
By
not.
default, it will take it, I think.
Yes. If you
Okay. And for numeric,
numeric, it is like minimum is 3 and by default is 8. If you want to alter this one, you may use it.
uh, for numeric, it is 3.
Yes, 3 or 2 maybe something like this. I think that this is a 3.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, okay. Numeric default is 8, but the minimum the length that I was talking about, it was 3.
But
Okay.
when I do it by the base set, it sometimes take the values more than 8. I mean, it does not truncate it. So I just want to confirm what is the
You
default
know,
length.
this is a feature like when you are actually capture the information from the card statement. Okay, you have the
Okay,
capability around 8, but when you are hard coding these things like x equals and the value that you want to type, it may go up to around 12. Okay, after that 12 it get truncated.
okay, fine.
Okay.
I'll check it.
uh,
Thank
yeah, okay, no problem. Maybe I can show it to you in this way. uh, okay, so uh, there was the case like I actually am not able to remembering, but the maximum in case of the numeric is like I don't know about it. It is in the into the in file or some like hard coding. It go up to maximum 12. After that, it get truncated.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
and yes, this was working now. Apurva just assisted me on this. So this is the if and then concept. You can use the case statement and use a different scenario that you want to have, and it as a column name that you have the race or whatever you want to give, and you have these features like if these values are come into this range, then assign it to as mid adult or something like this. Okay. Okay, is there anyone else who has any doubt till now? Okay, so this was my first session of advanced as class. Okay, and after that I will be moving. This was the just introduction to the proc SQL, so that you will not be confused using these statements. And always remember that you have to maintain this order. Select from where group by having an order by. Okay, and this is really very easy. And make sure you have a good command on this proc SQL, because in industry it is very asked frequently question on this one, because it just really as a simple query that I'm writing over here, but it gets really get complicated. But if you get the real basic concept, then you will not be confused. But start practicing it. Okay.
Arun,
Yes.
can we use calculated word with a character variable also, or it will work only on numeric?
uh
Like if I'll define like manager as senior manager, and then I will define the condition where senior manager, will it
suppose
work?
suppose say mm, let me create an example for you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, guys. So that was all for today into the proc sequel. I'm just taking it out for Priyanka. If anyone has any urgent work or want to leave, you may can. Okay. Okay, you can use the calculated keyword with the character variable as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so in the next class, I will be discussing different type of joins that we have available within the SAS. Sorry, into the proc SQL, and after that, I will be covering most of the features that we have available within into the proc SQL, and it is really a short course on proc SQL, and after that we will be starting with macros because most of the things already been covered into the base as, so there is a no thing to. Okay, so is there anyone who would like to add like maybe the things that you did not like about the class or want to improve into the next class? Just to be frank, I will not be offended if there is any suggestions like little bit, maybe I could be little bit very fast or
The class was good, Arun.
okay, maybe I just I was supposed to take this where like underscore and a percentage into the more deep, but this already has been covered into the bss classes in very deep. I When I was taking the classes, so this was all for today, and I hope that you did like it. And at the end of class, you will get these codes into the text format, and also you get the recording of this class.
Okay.
Okay. Base as class, I think maybe after this macro advanced as class, we will be starting statistical modeling, and maybe after that we could have the availability for the next base gas classes. And still, if you don't want to cover into the live sessions of bases, we do have available bases classes recordings available on the YouTube channel. Okay, you can type Sashi SAS class, you will find it a bunches of videos that are available into the bases sections. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining, and I hope next class would be very informative for you. And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Arun.
Bye bye.
Bye.